I'm not a dentist, but even I can tell this gear is missing too many teeth. The whole drivetrain is dead and supposedly a melted wax candle is all it takes to fix it. This is lawnmower drive gear, and if you look closely you can see several teeth are completely gone. Not chipped, gone. The gear just slips instead of engaging, so we're essentially starting from zero. Before anything can be fixed, the damage has to be cleaned up properly. Using a Dremel with a cutting disc, I ground down the broken tooth stumps until I had flat, even surface to work with. It is crucial to get rid of any jagged edges now, otherwise they'll create weak points in the final cast. The result isn't pretty, but it is exactly what we need to move forward. A smooth surface won't hold anything long term, so I switched to a round burr bit and drilled a series of small holes across the entire area. More surface area means a much stronger mechanical bond for whatever comes next. Now for the mold. I grabbed a 50mm diameter PVC pipe, measured and marked a 3cm ring. Here's a useful trick for a perfect line on round surfaces. Hold the marker steady in one spot and simply rotate the pipe against it. With the mark set, I cut it off with a metal hacksaw. A quick pass with 80 grit sandpaper cleaned up the edges and removed any burrs from the saw. Then, using a sharp knife, I split the ring into two pieces. The final step, beveling the cut edges to a slight taper. This creates a wedge-like profile, ensuring the mold releases cleanly later without snapping the delicate wax teeth we are about to cast. I set the PVC piece directly over the healthy teeth of the gear, using them as a reference, and fix the gear to a flat surface with two wood screws to keep everything from shifting. To seal the mold, I rolled a strip of plasticine into consistent, even rope. It is the perfect material for this. Soft, sticky, and easy to press into every gap between base, the PVC ring, and the gear itself. I'm making sure to apply enough pressure to create a physical barrier. If there are no gaps, there are no leaks. This might be low-tech, but it is incredibly effective. The mold is now completely sealed and ready to pour. For a cast material, I'm starting with wax, specifically a plain household candle. I chopped it in small pieces with a sharp knife. Smaller pieces melt much more evenly, which helps avoid overheating the wax or leaving stubborn clumps behind. The goal is to end up with enough material to fill the mold completely, with a little bit extra just in case of shrinkage as it cools. I transferred the chopped wax into a small metal container and placed it directly over a little tea light. The flame is tiny, but wax melts surprisingly fast, way faster than you expect from something that small. I'm keeping a close eye on it to make sure it stays clear and doesn't start to smoke, which will ruin the consistency. The wax melted quickly and cleanly with no residue. And just like that, fully liquid. I poured the liquid wax slowly in the prepared mold. The seal held perfectly, not a single drop escaped. It is satisfying to see fill every tiny corner of the gear teeth. Now it just needs time to cool and solidify completely before we touch it. Once everything cooled down, I removed the plasticine seal with a small flathead screwdriver. Then I carefully peeled off both ends of PVC mold. Because of how PVC behaves, it didn't stick to the wax at all, it just popped right off. The cast came out slightly proud of the gear surface, so it's needed to be trimmed flush. A utility knife turned out to be the perfect tool for this. Slicing, scraping, and finishing until the surface was completely flat and even. You have to be gentle here. One wrong move and the whole wax part could crack. And honestly, those shavings were deeply satisfying to clean up. I removed the whole assembly from the workbench and took a good look at the wax cast. Every gap, every detail filled perfectly. The tooth profile looked exactly right. Now the delicate part. Removing the wax piece without destroying it. This is the moment of truth, and it came out perfectly clean. It fits. Sits right into the damaged section of the gear like it was always there. I made a small containment form from leftover plastic packaging and sealed it with silicone. And here's another useful trick. Loading that silicone in the syringe gives you way more control when you're working in tight, delicate spaces. Now, if you got basic 3D modeling skills, you could skip this whole hands-on molding process. You can simply design a digital copy of the gear and 3D print or CNC machine a replacement. And that's exactly where PCBWay comes in. They are well known for the PCBs, it's literally in their name, but they also offer a massive range of manufacturing services, from CNC machining and laser cutting to injection molding, and of course, 3D printing in high-performance plastics and metals. Since a part like this faces constant mechanical stress, their selection of engineering-grade materials is exactly what you need. The order process is really simple. Choose your service you need, upload your design files, pick your materials, and you instantly get a quote with pricing upfront. And if something in your design needs tweaking, their engineers will actually catch it and help you fix it before production, which has saved me more than once. So if you need professional custom parts made quickly and at great price, check out the link in the description to see what PCBWay can create for you. But let's go back to my approach and mix the secret sauce. A portion of white cement for the structure and color, a small part of epoxy resin, all mixed thoroughly, and finally, the hardener. Once everything was combined and fully mixed, it was ready to pour. Using a flexible plastic container made it much more easier to control the pour. A gentle squeeze directed the epoxy exactly where it needs to go, with no overfilling and no mess. The next day, epoxy was rock solid. I couldn't wait to pull the form and see what we had. The plastic came away cleanly, no bonding with epoxy whatsoever. Then I scraped off the remaining silicone with a small flathead. It takes a bit of patience to get it all out of the crevices, but the surface underneath looks great. I don't know why, but that part was oddly satisfying. Since the epoxy was poured slightly above the gear surface, both surfaces need to be brought flush. A belt sander with 80 grit paper took care of the bulk of it fast and accurately. I kept the gear moving to avoid heat buildup, which could soften the epoxy. Then I finished it with 120 grit for clean, even result. With a rotary tool and 80 grit drum sander, I shaped the repaired section to follow the exact profile of the gear and blend it seamlessly. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see how this gear tooth reconstruction actually turned out. I'll be honest, the wax pieces didn't release as cleanly this time and it had to come out in sections. But even before it was fully cleared, I could already see that every tooth had formed beautifully. Maybe I am a little biased after putting this much work in it, but I think those new teeth look genuinely great. If not the white color, you'd barely know anything has been repaired at all. So does a repair like this actually make sense? It is worth the time, the materials and the effort? Some might say that 3D printing or CNC machining a new gear will be a smarter move, and they are probably right. So why do it the hard way? Honestly, because I want to see if it could be done from scratch using nothing but basic materials and a bit of patience. I have my own opinion on how it's turned out, but I want to hear yours. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe for more questionable repairs, and I'll see you in the next one.